In Proverbs 22, it talks about training a child in the way they should go. That's our passion, because a great education opens doors, it equips and empowers people, and it can provide access to opportunities. But we know that the playing field is not level, and over the years, God has spoken to us about this injustice. There have been many prophetic words, prayers and tears.
For the last decade, we've been working all this out by teaching in schools across South East London, where exclusion rates, the school to prison pipeline, unconscious bias, a Eurocentric curriculum, all put barriers in place, preventing some children from having the same opportunities as others. And that's not right, it's not fair. As Rita Pearson says, every child needs a champion.
A great education opens doors by giving people access to opportunities, and that's what we want to do. To use education as a tool to equip and empower people. And what started in schools in South East London is now taking us to Kenya. In August, we're moving to Kajabi to help coach, support and develop staff at Cornerstone Academy, part of Naomi's Village. Like a child counting down the days to Christmas, we're really excited. We had a significant prophetic word before we were married back in 2009, so now there's some anticipation about the whole thing. It's a word that we've held on to for the last 11 years, and we're really looking forward to seeing what God's got in store.
As we step out, we're excited about having stories of God's faithfulness. We don't just want to read other people's stories. Wesley, Wilberforce, William Carey, Hudson Taylor. We want stories of our own. We want to live it. We want to be able to tell our own stories of God's faithfulness, stories of His goodness, stories of His provision, stories of His love. And we're looking forward to seeing a community transformed, seeing young people who might have been trafficked or killed or abused being rescued and restored, seeing boys and girls grow up to become pastors and teachers, businessmen and women, lawyers and doctors and nurses, people that will shape and change their nation. Ultimately, we're just really excited about seeing what God might do. Of course, COVID-19 makes everything a bit trickier just because it creates so many unknowns. So our flight might be cancelled or have to be postponed, but then it might not. We might have to go into quarantine in a government facility when we arrive, but we might not. All of that's going to affect whether Jonah can start his new school in a new country on time or not. We might be able to gather with our friends and family before we leave, but we might not. And the list goes on. So like much of life right now, COVID-19 presents lots of challenges.
Yeah, and there's a lot of admin that comes with moving internationally. Visas, tax, national insurance, health insurance. And similarly with our house, we need to find tenants and management, tax implications, mortgage changes and so on. The amount of paperwork that needs to be done while trying to homeschool and keep on top of everything else lockdown has thrown our way has been a challenge. There are a few things we'd love for you to be praying for right now. Firstly, for the flights to go ahead. We're due to fly out August the 20th, and although the flights are still scheduled to go ahead at the moment, as the weeks pass, this looks less and less likely.
Yeah, we'd love for you to pray for the quarantine restrictions to be lifted. When we arrive in Kenya, we would need to be placed in quarantine in a government facility for 14 days. We've got no idea what that would look like. And obviously, that's not an ideal way to arrive in a new country. So we'd love for those restrictions to be lifted.
And also God's provision. We still need about 40% of our monthly support, and we also need to continue to raise money for a vehicle. So we'd love for you to pray that our flights will go ahead, quarantine restrictions lifted, and for God's provision financially.
We're excited about all that God's got in store, and we'd love for you to get involved and partner with us. And we've set up a website, www.trainerchild.org, to try and make that as easy as possible. So do have a look at that website, trainerchild.org. The other thing we'd love for you to do is to join us on Wednesday the 10th of June, Wednesday the 10th, for a gathering on Zoom. It's going to be a great evening. We'll share more about our story and how you can get involved. There's talk of a little quiz, and you'll get to hear from Jonah and Caleb as well. But because it is going to be online, you are going to have to provide your own refreshments. We'd love to see you then. Asante sana.